you so much, Dr. Saras. It's a great pleasure to be in your course along with Keki sir. So, can you see my screen?
Yep,
Okay,
we can.
fine. So, I'll be speaking on management of post-polar cataracts. We all know that the true post-polar cataracts, they are always a nightmare for any phacosurgeon because uh, there is always a chance of the posterior capsule defect and a lot of complications can occur. So you need to be careful at each and every step. You need to plan them very meticulously. So it starts with the creation of capsulorhexis. So sizing of the capsulorhexis has to be not more than 5.25 or 5.5 millimeter because if there is a big PCR, if there is a big posterior capsule defect, you may need to put a 3-piece IOL in the sulcus and do optic capture for long-term stability. And for optic capture, you need to have a sizing not more than 5.25 or 5.5. In the true posterior polar cataract, we always try to avoid hydrodissection. So hydrodelineation, after you do some hydrodelineation, and it's a nuclear grade 2-3 cataract, I go ahead and put some OVD and start phaco and try to eat up the nucleus as much as possible without causing any rotation or without torsional forces in the capsular bag. So our entire efforts are directed towards trying to open up the posterior, the take out the central, the adhered part in the last. So that's where our focus is. So once I clear off this uh, nucleus, so after that you loosen up the epinuclear sheet all around from the capsular bag. See, I'm avoiding to take off this central plaque at this stage because I want to loosen up it from all around before I flip this. So once you take this epinuclear plate here, and this is the last portion. Now see the central adhered part which is there, it has been taken off now. And once you take this off, I see that there is of course a posterior capsule defect is there. Now it depends, your management now depends on the size of the posterior capsule defect and of course vitreous if it's there or not. So as I can see that this is increasing in size a sort of. So I feel that yes, of course, there will be vitreous here. So that always remember that you never take out your withdraw your instruments in a knee-jerk reaction because it can further exaggerate this posterior capsule defect which is there, and secondly, more vitreous can start prolapsing from this posterior capsule defect. So here I go from side put some viscoelastic, maintain antechamber, and this is all under topical anesthesia. And now you need to stain the vitreous to see it and to cut it completely from the anterior chamber, and for that you can go ahead and do either limbal vitrectomy, bimanual limbal vitrectomy, or if you are proficient enough you can go ahead and do pars plana anterior vitrectomy. So here I am doing anterior vitrectomy, so staining the vitreous and using bimanual approach and doing anterior vitrectomy from the anterior chamber. So remember that it has to be complete vitrectomy before you start taking off this cortical matter. So then I go ahead and stripping the cortical matter from capsular bag. So unless and until you finish off the vitrectomy, you can't take this cortical matter nicely. So here see, so these are the, and you can clearly see a big, very big posterior capsule defect here, and I have entirely completed the cleaning of the capsular bag. Again, never come out suddenly, put OVD, maintain anterior chamber, and here you need to implant a 3-piece IOL in sulcus and do optic capture. So I'm go ahead and implant a 3-piece IOL. Remember to try to keep the haptic, the leading haptic horizontal to the iris plane. So if leading haptic goes behind iris, and you dial the trailing haptic in the sulcus. So once you have put this IOL in sulcus, then is the time to do optic capture. So here comes the importance of sizing. So here you see, let me, yeah, I go on one side and other side. So here the lens is sulcus, go on one side with the Kugelens hook, push it on the other side and capture it. So this capturing is very crucial for long-term stability of the IOL, and check on both the sides that yes, whether it has been captured properly or not. And again, do take off if any vitreous is there in anterior chamber, put some Miochol and hydro stitch once your case is done. And this is the post-operative photograph. You can see there is a big posterior capsule defect. IOL is in sulcus and it has been nicely captured for long-term stability of IOL. So this was the scenario when we have a big posterior capsule defect and we can't convert this defect into a posterior capsulorhexis. So here's the another case, typical posterior polar cataract. Again, now see, this is the last piece which I have taken off, and you can see a posterior capsule defect there. But here see the fluid movements and currents, they are same because there is no vitreous. So if there is a PCR, it doesn't always mean that there is a vitreous. So here there is a posterior capsule defect which is small, but there is no vitreous in anterior chamber. I can see the fluid currents which are there normally. So I go ahead and without allowing my anterior chamber to collapse, I do bimanual irrigation aspiration without doing any vitrectomy. So you can see here in center there is a posterior capsule defect which is limited to central 2.53 millimeter, and the entire posterior capsule is dancing with the irrigation fluid. Now is the time to convert this defect into this tear into a posterior capsulorhexis. I go ahead and put OVD and use microforceps to convert it into a posterior capsulorhexis. So if you are able to convert a limited posterior capsule tear into a good capsulorhexis, posterior capsulorhexis, you can implant single piece IOL in the capsular bag, which should be the preferred IOL in these cases. So I put a IOL in the capsular bag here and put some Miochol, and this finishes the case. Now see next post-operative photograph. You can see this is the posterior capsule tear which was converted into posterior capsulorhexis, and this is the anterior capsulorhexis margin, and IOL is nicely sitting in the capsular bag. How much time do I have, Dr. Cyrus? Okay, and this is again typical posterior polar cataract. I do some viscodissection, take off. So when this last sheet comes off, as you can see, there is a posterior capsule central opening which is there, defect is there. So I go ahead and do some anterior vitrectomy here and put IOL in the capsular bag again. So I think with this I finish my presentation, and thank you very much Dr. Cyrus for giving this wonderful opportunity.